A Stoic morning reset. The Stoic philosophers once said, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." That's not just a quote, that's a baseline, a quiet reminder that the very act of waking up is a gift, not a guarantee. Gratitude isn't just a positive mindset, it's a powerful shift in perspective. It protects you from entitlement. It grounds you when anxiety creeps in. It brings you back to this moment, not the thousand thoughts ahead. Most of us wake up and immediately get pulled into noise. Notifications, thoughts, worries. The world starts talking before we've even said hello to ourselves. But here's the truth. If you don't claim your attention first thing in the morning, the world will gladly take it. Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." So if you start your day already stressed, already reacting, you're not living, you're bracing. Gratitude interrupts that. It's not just a morning habit, it's an anchor, a quiet act of resistance, a way of saying, "I'm here, I'm breathing." That's enough. We forget how fragile life is until something reminds us, a diagnosis, a loss, a moment. And then we realize every breath, every sunrise, every ordinary morning is extraordinary. So before you reach for your phone, pause. Take 3 deep breaths, slow, steady, present. Place your hand on your heart if it helps, and say it, quietly or out loud. "I'm grateful to be here, not to perform, not to prove, just to be." Socrates once said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." And maybe that examination isn't always about deep questions. Maybe it's about deep presence. You don't need a fancy journal or the perfect morning routine. You just need one clean thought. This moment is enough. And when you start from enough, you stop chasing chaos just to feel alive. You begin your day not with pressure, but with purpose. It's a subtle difference, but a real one. One feels like drowning. The other feels like clarity. That shift, it starts with intention. When you lead with gratitude, you're not scrambling to find peace all day, because you already began with it. Think of it as tuning your inner frequency. When you're tuned into appreciation, the little things, delays, traffic, interruptions, they don't grab you the same way. You're not reacting from lack. You're responding from wholeness. Even Aristotle reminded us, happiness depends upon ourselves, not in a self-centered way, but in a grounded, honest way. So take a moment, not to scroll, not to stress, but to remember, just waking up, breathing, feeling, noticing, is a miracle we often overlook. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most grounded voices in Stoicism, knew this deeply. He wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." It's not morbid, it's motivating. It's a reminder that this, right now, is what we have. So before the to-do lists, before the headlines, before the rush, take one breath and tell yourself, "I'm grateful to be here. Not because everything is perfect, but because I still get to try, to grow, to make amends, to be." This is where strength begins, not in control, but in connection. And if that thought grounds you, if it speaks to something inside you, hold on to it, because that's where peace starts, with presence, with purpose, with a quiet, clear truth. I'm grateful to be here. Letting go. A morning reset. Say it, feel it. Let the words settle into your breath and gently widen your perspective. It may sound small, almost too simple, but that phrase, "I'm grateful to be here," holds the power to recalibrate your entire inner world. Because gratitude isn't passive. It's a form of quiet strength. It's how you take back your day before the world starts pulling at you. It's how you shift from merely existing to consciously living. And the more you practice it, the more you realize this moment, right here, right now, is the starting point for everything. Not your goals, not your calendar, not even your coffee. Just this breath, this stillness, this awareness. So say it with me, not just today, but every morning, before the noise, before the rush. I'm grateful to be here. That's your reset. That's where transformation begins. Have you ever noticed how some people wake up already exhausted? Not because they didn't sleep, but because they never really let go of yesterday. Their bodies rested, but their minds kept spinning, replaying that one thing they wish they'd said differently, that moment they wished never happened. It loops, quietly, constantly, and without even realizing it, they carry all of that into a brand new day. It's like trying to run while dragging yesterday's suitcase. Eventually, it slows you down, or worse, makes you fall. We carry too much. The awkward conversation, the missed opportunity, the silent shame. Sometimes it's not even ours. We carry other people's moods, judgments, and expectations too. But here's the part we often forget. You're not meant to relive yesterday. You're meant to learn from it, and then gently set it down. That's the real work. Not perfection, but release. So start here. Remind yourself each morning. Yesterday doesn't own me. Say it like you believe it. Say it like your peace depends on it. Because honestly, it does. That sentence may not erase the past, but it draws a boundary between what was and what is now. And that boundary, that's freedom. Carl Jung once wrote, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." It's true, yesterday might explain your wounds, but it doesn't define your path. You get to choose the story you tell yourself today. You get to decide, do I carry shame or do I carry strength? Too often, we keep replaying our lowest moments like they're assignments we forgot to finish. But at some point, you've got to close that chapter. You've got to write the next one, with clearer eyes and steadier hands. The Stoics had a powerful view of this. They believed the event itself didn't matter as much as your response to it. Epictetus put it simply, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." So yes, maybe yesterday was messy. Maybe you lost your temper, missed the moment, said the wrong thing. Okay, now what? Are you going to live in that moment forever? Or are you going to take what it taught you and move forward a little wiser? Think of each day like a blank journal page. If you keep scribbling yesterday's story onto today's space, there's no room left for anything new. Letting go isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's the discipline of saying, I'm not wasting today trying to rewrite what's already written. That's real strength. The kind that doesn't need to shout, because it's rooted in peace. Socrates believed that an examined life was essential. But examining doesn't mean reopening the same wounds. It means seeing clearly, understanding honestly, and then choosing to move on with grace. Take the lesson, leave the weight. If that sounds too simple, ask yourself, what has holding on to yesterday really done for you? Has it helped, healed, or just made today heavier? Here's something to try. Picture your lingering thoughts, regret, guilt, embarrassment, as stones in a backpack. Each morning, before you even get out of bed, take a breath. Close your eyes. And imagine taking that backpack off. Visualize it sliding from your shoulders and landing on the floor. Feel your body relax. Let that image become your ritual. Because when you release, physically and mentally, your nervous system gets the message. We're safe. We're free. We're starting fresh. Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do." So make this your practice, a small act of letting go every single morning. With repetition, it becomes easier to separate your identity from your old wounds. You stop being the person who always feels behind. and start becoming the person who bounces back, forgives quickly, and chooses peace intentionally. And remember, it's not just the big stuff. Sometimes the heaviest weight is a passing comment, a strange tone in a text, or an offhand remark. You don't even notice it at first, but it lingers. So today, let's do things differently. Don't wait for peace to find you. Create it, moment by moment. And begin with this. I'm grateful to be here, and I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. Return to center. A morning reset. It's strange how the little things get under our skin. A comment, a look, a lingering thought we didn't even notice. They build up quietly until one morning we wake up tense and can't remember why. That's why this practice matters. Not just after a meltdown, not only when life feels heavy, but every single morning as a way to check in, clear out, and come home to yourself. There's a quote often attributed to Plato. The beginning is the most important part of the work. It's true, because how you begin shapes how you move through the rest. Start your day with the weight of yesterday, and everything, your thoughts, your words, your choices, gets filtered through that old residue. But if you begin with presence, if you release instead of replay, you create space, you find clarity, and you protect your peace before the noise even begins. So here's the shift. Stop treating each day like it's just a continuation of your hardest moment. That's not fair to you. That's not fair to who you're becoming. Yesterday had its chance. Today is yours. And you deserve to show up fully. Not halfway, not haunted, not on autopilot. Say it again, gently but clearly. Yesterday doesn't own me. That's not denial. That's direction. It's you choosing healing over hurt. It's you reminding yourself that your future is built not from the debris of your past, but from the presence of this moment. So choose it. Choose peace. Choose to drop the weight. And then live like that choice matters. Life moves fast now. One moment you're sipping coffee, the next you're knee-deep in notifications, texts, news alerts, expectations. And then come the thoughts. Loud, relentless, spinning stories you never even asked for. Suddenly, you're not thinking. You're being thought. You're reacting, chasing, overanalyzing. It's exhausting, and it's a trap. The Stoics saw this coming centuries ago. They understood that the outer world may be chaotic, but it's the inner storm that truly drains us. That's why they trained daily, not to control the world, but to master the only thing they truly could, themselves, their attention, their reactions, their minds. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the core, not power over others, not power over outcomes, but power over your response. And that's why your mornings matter. Before the noise of the world kicks in, there's a small window of silence, a pause, a moment that belongs only to you. What you do in that pause sets the tone for everything else. So here's your anchor. Before your phone, before your to-do list, before the headlines, say it. I control my mind. Say it softly, or say it with your whole chest, but say it like it matters, because it does. That sentence is a boundary, a shield, a gentle reminder that you don't have to chase every thought or fix every feeling. Carl Jung once wrote, "Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens." That's not just poetry. It's a blueprint. Most people go through the day completely outward focused, pulled by opinions, by comparison, by urgency. But when you turn inward, even for 60 seconds, you begin to wake up. You remember, not every thought is truth. Not every feeling deserves a reaction. Your mind might be busy, but you don't have to be. Here's something simple you can try. Just sit still. 1 minute, No music, no phone, just you, your breath. Inhale slowly, exhale even slower. Let the thoughts come, they will. But don't hold them. Don't wrestle them. Just let them float past like clouds. That space between stimulus and response, that's where your power lives. That's where you remember, I am not my thoughts. I am the one who observes them. Plato believed, the first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. Not your inbox, not your schedule, not even your bad habits, yourself. That victory, it starts quietly, in your head, in the space where you decide not to spiral, where you catch yourself drifting and gently return. You don't have to be a monk. You just have to practice. To train for peace like it matters. Because it does. You don't need to answer every ping. You don't need to believe every fear. You don't need to let a minor inconvenience ruin your entire day. Peace isn't passive. It's a decision, a muscle you build, a boundary you choose again and again. Socrates once said, "The secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new." And the new begins when you say, "This is who I'm becoming. This is the energy I'm choosing. This is the mindset I'm committed to." Because mindset isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. And science backs this up. Neuroscience tells us that your brain rewires based on what you repeat. If your mornings are reactive, stressful, scattered, your brain gets better at stress. But if your mornings are grounded, intentional, mindful, your brain gets better at calm. That's not theory, that's biology. You're training your nervous system every single day. Even Aristotle said it best. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. So here's the habit. Every morning, say it again. I control my mind. That's your rep. That's your anchor. And when life pulls you, and it will, come back to it. When your thoughts start spinning, pause, breathe, and remind yourself. Just because a thought is loud doesn't mean it's true. Just because a feeling appears doesn't mean it deserves all your energy. Your inner voice, when trained, is louder than the world's noise. But it's a choice, every day. And yes, you'll forget. You'll slip. That's okay. Growth isn't about perfection. It's about returning. That's what the Stoics taught. Not to be flawless, but to be aware. To notice when you drift and come back sooner. So tomorrow morning, before the world asks for anything, sit with yourself. Close your eyes. Inhale calm. Exhale chaos. And speak it. I control my mind. Let that be your compass. Let that be your center. Because the world might be loud. But you're louder when you choose to be. And that's how you take your power back. Every single day. The quiet power of kindness. There's something quietly magnetic about people who carry calm with them. They don't need to raise their voice. They don't need to prove anything. They just are. Steady, grounded, present. And somehow, that makes everyone else feel safer too. You might wonder, what gives someone that kind of presence? It's not fame. It's not status. It's not some morning routine found in a self-help book. It's kindness. But not the soft, surface-level kind. Real kindness. The kind that comes from strength, not from people-pleasing. You've probably felt it before. You meet someone whose energy feels peaceful. Not because they're passive, but because they're intentional. There's no rush, no judgment, no posturing, just presence. And that doesn't happen by accident. It starts with a quiet decision repeated daily. Kindness is my power. Not in a poetic, quote on a wall way, but in a practical, stoic way. Because being kind isn't about being agreeable. It's not about avoiding discomfort or pretending everything is fine. True kindness takes strength. It takes self-mastery. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Kindness is invincible if it's sincere, not fawning or fake." And he was right. What can anyone really do to you if you remain kind and grounded? That's the balance. Soft, but not fragile. Calm, but not silent. Firm, but not harsh. In a world that often confuses coldness with confidence, kindness is a quiet rebellion. It says, "I know who I am, so I don't need to raise my voice to be heard." The Stoics taught that true power lies in controlling ourselves, not in controlling others. Kindness, then, is discipline. It's the ability to pause before reacting, to listen before assuming, to offer grace, even when it's not necessarily earned. Carl Jung once said, "Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness in others." That lands, doesn't it? Because we've all been there, carrying our own storms, insecurity, fear, pain, and most of the time, when others lash out, that's what they're carrying too. Kindness is how we meet people where they are, not by excusing bad behavior, but by refusing to add to it. It's not about being overly positive. It's about seeing the humanity in people, even when they've forgotten how to show it. Start your day with that mindset and things shift. You speak more gently, not because you're unsure, but because you're anchored. You respond slower, not because you don't care, but because you care enough not to react from ego. And you show patience, not because you're passive, but because you know real change, real healing, yours and others, takes time. Socrates once said, "Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle." He wasn't being poetic. He was being honest. Most of what people project, frustration, bitterness, even silence, has nothing to do with you. It's their own story, their own wounds, their own unresolved weight. When you understand that, you stop personalizing things. You begin to see through them. That rude comment, probably fear. That cold shoulder, maybe exhaustion. That overreaction, possibly pain. Kindness doesn't ignore reality. It just chooses to respond with clarity, not ego. So here's something practical. Visualize one kind act you can do today. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's a sincere compliment. Maybe it's listening, really listening, when someone speaks. Maybe it's checking in on a friend you haven't heard from in a while. Small gestures, big ripples. And often, they'll do more for you than for anyone else. Because each act of kindness reinforces who you are. It's not just what you do, it's what you become. Plato believed, "Excellence is not an act, but a habit." And so is kindness. It's not something you wait to feel. It's something you practice, daily, until it's no longer an effort, just your way of moving through the world. Eventually, your presence starts to change. You stop walking into rooms trying to take. You start arriving with something to offer. That's a different kind of power, a deeper one. And yes, some people won't get it. They might mistake your calm for indifference, your patience for weakness. But you're not doing it for them. You're doing it because it aligns with who you've chosen to be, because it reflects the kind of character you're building. And here's the deeper truth. Long-term influence, real influence, doesn't come from charm, or intellect, or hustle. It comes from consistency, from showing up with the same grounded presence day after day. Kindness, not as a tactic, but as your foundation. The Stoics were warriors of the mind. They didn't avoid life's hardships. They walked through them with virtue. And kindness? That was core to their philosophy. Not decoration, not fluff. Core. When you understand that, you stop needing recognition. You stop needing applause. You just live it, quietly, consistently, completely. So tomorrow morning, before the notifications hit, before the demands rush in, pause, center yourself, And remind your mind, kindness is my strength. Not because it's easy, not because the world always deserves it, but because it's who you choose to be. Then move through your day like someone who isn't afraid to be good, not performative good, not convenient good, strong good. That's the kind that leaves a mark. That's the kind that shifts a room. And often, that's the kind that changes people, starting with you. Everything is temporary, and that's what makes it precious. This isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up, gently. The stress you're carrying, temporary. The pressure, temporary. Even the joy, the peace, the good moments, they pass too. And maybe that's what makes them matter so much. The Stoics understood this better than most. They practiced memento mori, a quiet, daily reminder that we won't be here forever. Not to be morbid, not to be dramatic, but to be awake. Because when you understand that nothing is guaranteed, not tomorrow, not even the next hour, you start treating right now with more care, more reverence. Plato once said, "Time is the moving image of eternity." And that line hits differently when you realize how much of our time is spent somewhere else, regretting yesterday, rehearsing tomorrow. We rarely just are. But presence is a skill, a muscle. It takes practice to stay here. Carl Jung once wrote that the ability to be fully present is a major part of mental health. And it makes sense. Most of our anxiety lives in the future. Most of our sadness lives in the past. The present? That's where our breath is. That's where our feet are. That's where real life happens. But we miss it. The golden light spilling through a window, the first sip of coffee, the feel of the air just before rain. Tiny moments, easily overlooked, but everything important lives there. So here's your quiet reminder. This moment is all I have, and I'm going to live it. Not later, not when things settle down. Now this cup in your hand, this silence before the day picks up speed, this laugh, this conversation, this pause. Life isn't waiting to begin. It's happening right now. And if you're not fully here, you're not just missing time. You're missing your life. Aristotle spoke of eudaimonia, flourishing. But he didn't tie it to success or image or some goal on a distant horizon. He tied it to virtue, to awareness, to how you show up moment by moment. Being present doesn't mean ignoring your responsibilities. It means being fully in whatever you're doing, even when it's messy, even when it's hard. And yes, presence is hard. It's easier to distract yourself, to scroll, to overthink, to keep moving. Because being still with yourself, that's where the real work begins. The Stoics had a word for it, ataraxia, a kind of calm that doesn't get shaken by the world. You don't need silence to find it. You just need to notice. Notice the toothbrush in your hand, the trees swaying outside your window, the warmth of the water, the way your chest rises when you breathe. You don't have to fix everything. You don't have to chase the next thing. Just notice. This isn't about pretending life isn't stressful. Of course it is. There's noise, deadlines, people who need you. But presence gives you a way through it, without giving your peace away in the process. Seneca once said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence on the future." And maybe that's all we really want. Not more stuff, not more plans, just to enjoy what's already here. And that joy, it doesn't have to be loud. It can live in silence, in soft smiles, in the space between moments. So maybe right now, yes, right now, pause. Take one breath. Feel it. Notice what you hear. Notice where your feet are. Notice the weight of this exact moment. You don't need to be anywhere else. You don't need to fix anything. Just be here. Because this moment, it's already fading. Not in a dramatic way, just quietly, like they all do. And if you're not careful, you'll miss it. Not because you didn't care, but because you were somewhere else. So hold it a little longer. Appreciate it a little more. Say to yourself softly, but clearly, everything is temporary. So I will enjoy this moment. That mindset, it doesn't just slow time, it deepens it. And over time you begin to realize this moment was never small. It was always here. You just had to notice. So as you move through the rest of today, whatever it brings, carry this with you. Peace isn't waiting for you in the next moment. It's right here, in this breath, in this pause, in you. If this spoke to something in you, there's another video waiting on screen. It goes even deeper into living with stillness, with clarity, with quiet strength. I think it'll meet you where you are, and maybe gently help you move forward. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being part of Stoic Mindset Mastery.